All right, today is day 6, nonstop November. Yes, and for those of you all who don't know about it, it's not too late to jump on it. This was started by Much Love from KY, and let me tell you, the video she did on the mother who basically abused, verbally abused her daughter in that bathroom. She couldn't have said it no better. I'm telling you, she went all the fucking way in, all the way in. So today I'm gonna talk about 16 and pregnant. Of course, clearly I'm not 16 years old, but at some point in time, I was 16 and I was pregnant. So I do want to talk about that. I do not want to make it seem like I'm condoning teen pregnancy. I don't want anyone to get this mixed up to make anyone think that I'm saying that it's okay to be 16 and pregnant, that it's cute to be 16 and pregnant. I'm just telling you my story, that I was 16 and pregnant. Not only was I 16 and pregnant, I was 17 and pregnant. So by 18, I had 2 children, a boy and a girl. My firstborn was a boy. So I was 16 and pregnant. And I'm making this message because, this is nonstop November. And like I said, I'm always clocking the T on other people, but I want to clock the T on myself a little bit. And I also want any young girls that are watching this message or this video to maybe learn something, take something away from this. If you are a mother and you're experiencing your daughter coming to you saying that she's pregnant and you might not know how to feel, you might not know how to deal with this, I just want you to know that there is hope. And mind me for scrambling around because these freaking bugs out here still, and also too, like I said, if you all are making comments and I'm not responding back, please don't take it personal. When I get back to the States, I'm probably going to double up on my videos so that I can publish them, but I just want to spend some time in the comment sections. That's one thing I pride myself on, is being in the comment sections. Like, to me, I don't do this for subscribers and I don't do this for likes. I do it, it's part therapy for myself, and it's also for the people. I'm saying the things that you might want to say but you can't say it, and I'm also speaking out on things that some people just don't have the strength or they're not brave enough to say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna clock my T and I'm gonna get into this pregnancy thing. Okay, so at age 16, I was pregnant. Now, I'm not gonna make any excuses that my mother didn't talk to me about sex or didn't tell me what to do or how to protect myself, because at the end of the day, let me tell you something. At 16 years old, you are smart enough to know how you get pregnant. You all know that a bird does not, whatever it's called, come down and deliver a baby and to you. You know what you do to get pregnant, and I knew that. However, you always think that it's not going to happen to me. And even though I thought to myself it's not going to happen to me, I turned right around and did it again. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know how that is. You're young, and you're young, and sometimes you're in love, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're just being fast and fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? It's it is what it is. So 16 years old, I was pregnant, and as of today, my oldest son, which is my oldest, is 22, and my daughter is 20. She'll be 21 next month, and then my youngest is 13 years old. And I'm gonna tell you something. To girls who are out there, if you're being sexually active, let me tell you something. Because I don't want to paint this picture like it's easy, because it's not. I had to make so many sacrifices in order to take care of my kids. I had to work some jobs that today there's no amount of money you could pay me to go and work them. I had to deal with some situations relationship wise, as far as their fathers, that I necessarily didn't want to be in. But growing up without my father, you always think you want to stay in this relationship because you want your kids to have both parents. That is the most craziest reason to stay in any situation or any relationship, because let me tell you something, those kids will be more happy if you're by yourself than you staying in an unhealthy situation for the sake of your children. But again, I've had to do some things. And do not get this twisted. I don't want y'all thinking I was out here selling my ass, because no, I was not. But if I had to, I would. And I would do it today if I had to, if it's going to prevent my kids from starving. Again, young girls, I'm not telling y'all to go out here and do this shit, for real, for real. I'm just trying to tell you some shit that it's not easy. But if you're already in that situation where you already have your child, do not feel for a second that you won't get through this. Do not feel like you have to take your child and dump your child off on your mother. Your mother did not lay down and have these kids. Do not go dump your child off on your grandmother, your aunt, your sister, whoever. That is your child, okay? And when you're grown enough to lay down and have sex, you're grown enough to take on that responsibility. With that being said, I don't have any regrets about having my children young. However, I know that if I would have had them at a later time, things would have been different for me. And I had to make so many sacrifices as far as my education, just so many different things that I don't want any young girl out here to do. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if you don't want your mother to know that you're having sex. It doesn't matter if you have insurance or you don't have insurance. You can go to Planned Parenthood, sweetheart, and you can get birth control pills. You can get the Depo-Provera shot. You can get all that, and you don't have to have your mother's consent. And I'm not out here telling people to go run behind your mom's back and do things that she doesn't know about. If you have that relationship where you can sit down and you can talk to your mom, that's the best thing to do. But if you have one of those mothers, kind of like me, where you feel like you cannot come and talk to her because maybe of what she's gone through and she doesn't want you to go through it, so it's going to be hard for you to come to her and say, hey mom, I'm out here sexually active. What do I need to do? Go to Planned Parenthood and get yourself on some form of birth control pills. Do not rely on a man to tell you that he's going to pull out, okay? Because it's not going to happen. He might do it sometimes, but for the most part, he's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So make sure, one, that you get yourself on some type of birth control pills. If you haven't had sex yet and you're thinking about having sex, don't do it. I know easier said than done, and curiosity does kill the kitty cat, but let me tell you something. It's not worth it, because you're going to look back one day when you might be 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, or whatever, and you're going to be counting down maybe a list of people saying, I had sex with Tom, I had sex with Harry, I had sex with whoever, and where are they at now? Don't give away your most valuable asset to any old person. And when you look at the person you're with now, look at him and say, do I want him to be my baby's father? Do I want to have to deal with this motherfucker for the next 18 plus fucking years? Ask yourself that question. You know what I'm saying? But I will tell you this. My children, well, one is still in school, the other two are grown, but they do have jobs, are in college. In fact, my daughter, which tends to be the one who is I'll say, I don't want to take away anything from my oldest son, but boys tend to be a little bit slower as far as getting it together, getting those life skills. But my daughter, she has two jobs. She's in college. She wants to be interpreter for sign language, so she's studying deaf studies right now, and I'm really proud of her. But saying all of that, you know who had to take the sacrifices? Do you know who had to take that back seat? I did. I had to do all that. And I had to sit back while I made sure that I could allow my kids to be the best that they could be. So when you're sitting back and having kids, if you think that it's still about you, boo, it's not going to be about you no more. It's all about them babies. It's all about them kids. And, I hate to see people out here, girls or whatever, where you see them and they fly, you know what I'm saying? Hair fly, clothes fly, they looking all good, and they fucking kids is looking raggedy as fuck. Let me tell you something. My kids laugh at me all the time. Now, granted, let me see if I can get some little shoe can, right? Okay. So, all right. So I got some, because I don't have my selfie stick, so I be tripping. Okay. So, all right. So I got some $120 shoes on or whatever. I got some Coach shoes on, but at the end of the day, my kids laugh at me because I will go to Dollar General in a moment and buy a shirt. Matter of fact, when I get back, I got a haul that I'm going to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do those things so that I know my kids can be okay. So to this day, even though my youngest is 13, I'm still making sacrifices every single day. So what I want to say to you is wait. There's no reason to rush, because one day you're going to get like me, 39 years old, and you're going to wish that your ass was 20. You're going to wish that you were 16 and you could do all the things that, you could do if you didn't have those responsibilities. But I just want you to know that if you're already pregnant or you've already had a child, don't beat yourself up. There's no need to feel bad about yourself. The only thing you can do is see what you can do to be the best mom that you can do. The one mistake that I made is that with their father, I was with him for about 10 years, and I felt like I took a back seat, basically being a stay-at-home mom while he was getting himself together. And so what happens with that later on is you're no longer together, and he's got all his shit together, and you just still back somebody's baby's mother. Don't do that. I don't care. Now we live in a world with technology. So if you have to do an online class, and I know that DC has a lot of free classes. I don't know if maybe you don't live in DC, if you can still take those classes, but they have so many opportunities out there. And I don't care if you got to do it from home. I don't care if you got to sit on freaking YouTube all day and take some type of course or class. Do not sit back and just focus completely. Yes, your kids come first, but also work on you, because the only way to be the best mom to your kids is by being the best you. You know what I'm saying? If you have nothing to bring forth to the table, what kind of mom can you be to your children? But I just want you all to know that for the moms, if your daughter comes to you and she's pregnant, don't beat her down. She already feels bad enough. And yes, children should have fear of their parents, but don't make them so scared that they can't come and talk to you. Don't have your kids so scared that they're going to run off and have an abortion. And yes, I'm pro-choice. Do what you want to do. But I see so many girls, and I have so many friends when I was younger, who ran off and had abortions because they were scared of the repercussions of their parents. Don't scare your kids in that type of way. Don't tell your kids, because this is something that my mom told me. My mother told me, you're going to end up on welfare, and basically your kids aren't going to have shit. And I think that's the best thing she could have ever told me, because that's why, at the age I am now, that I don't sit out here tripping or looking for or depending on government programs. Before I had my situation, if any of you all look at my health problems that I'm dealing with, so I haven't been working now for a year, but before then I was working 12 hours a day. I was stacking my money and saving my money and doing what I had to do for me and my family. And I think by my mom putting me down in that type of way is the best thing she could have did, because I never went when my kids, were coming up. I never had to rely on welfare. I never had to rely on WIC. And I'm not putting you down, sweethearts. If y'all out here and that's what y'all got to do what you got to do to make sure them babies is okay. But what I'm telling you is, by her telling me that I basically was going to be nothing and that my kids would end up being nothing, that's why I prided myself on making sure that my kids were going to be the best that they could be. That's why, honestly, as far as my brothers and my cousins and stuff, I only have one cousin that's like my age that's gone to college and stuff like that. Half the people in my family haven't graduated, and that's why I made sure my kids are going to graduate. They're going to have an education. They're going to do something for themselves. You know what I mean? So even though my kids are young, 20 and 22, and some people might say, well, fuck, they still don't have shit. But let me tell you something. They have more going on for themselves than half of the grown people in my family. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if you're not out here having sex, don't start. If you are having sex, use protection. If it's too late and you're already pregnant, you already have a child, put your child first. Fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't be worrying about no baby father, boyfriends out here. Put your kids first and make sure that you instill some good values in them so that they can be better than you. My only mission and goal, I guess, in my life is for my kids to be better than me. And I can tell you that I have done. My kids are better than me, and that's what I want for them. So with that being said, I just clocked the T, 16 and pregnant. Yes, I was pregnant at 16. I had my son when I was 17. I turned 17 in March. He was born that next month in April. And then right after that, after having a baby, you're very fertile. So for y'all girls out here who just had a baby, don't be out here bumping and grinding in the bedroom, because you're going to end up pregnant again. So then I ended up pregnant again, had 2 kids, and then I had my little prince 13 years later, and I'm blessed. I have no regrets about that, but I just want to encourage you girls out here, if you haven't already gone down this path, don't do it. It's nothing cute about it. You're going to have to make sacrifices that, trust and believe me, that you don't want to have to do. You don't. You do not. When I tell you I've done it, I done sold drugs. I've worked jobs that I didn't want to have to work. I done did some shady shit, and I'm putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? I done done some shady ass shit to make sure that my kids have what they need. But at the same time, do you really want to do that? Do you want to take those chances? I don't think you do. So November nonstop, day 6. Holla at your girl.